Hello, class. Welcome to our fourth lecture series on international finance. And I'm your instructor, Dr. Jamel. Okay, so we had our assignment first, and I would be uploading its solution on the group and also on the Blackboard. So if you want to compare your answers, so you can just compare. So I would be hopefully giving you the response within 2 weeks. So even if I am a little bit late, so you know where did you made a mistake, or if you still don't understand, you can still text me in our group so that everybody can benefit it from the question. Okay, so we were discussing chapter number 3, and we ended our discussion on the foreign exchange quotations, and we talked about that bid and ask. What is bid and ask? Bid means bid and ask is basically dealer's perspective. So which means bid means dealer want to buy at this rate. Ask means dealer want to sell at ask rate. So I told you a little hint. Since bid start from B, it means buy, not customer buy, dealer buy. Similarly, ask has S, so you can just say that it is dealer want to sell. Okay, and then we talked about what is bid ask spread. So bid ask means bid ask spread means ask minus bid divided by ask. So this is a ratio. And then we also saw the exhibit 3.1 from your book, from the reading that I sent, uploaded. So we have a bid and we have ask. So spread is 5%. So we talked about whether this is profit. Answer is no, this is not the profit. This is just spread, right? You're going to call it gross profit because we didn't yet deduct our cost of this one, right? And then we did question number 6 on page 86, that what is bid ask spread of Canadian dollar, right? Let's move on. Here we go. So today we'll talk about the factors that affect this bid ask. So this 2%, which is not the profit, right? Remember, this is in international finance terminology, we call this spread, not profit, but this is not profit. We call it profit if we less all our cost to acquire these currencies, and then we call this profit. Right? So remember, spread is not profit. Okay? So what factors affect the spread? Number 1, order cost. So order cost means cost of processing the order, which includes clearing cost, cost of recording the transactions. Right? So you need to pay some clearing houses if you are using the standard some platform like the Forex standard platform, and if you are using some over the counter, which means they have some specific, so you need to pay some kind of fees for order processing, recording transactions, this kind of stuff. So if you order more, cost is going to be high. If you order less, cost is going to be less. Simple, right? Inventory cost. So some people, or basically the dealers, they basically purchase in bulk and save it with themselves. So when you order it, it also costs them to store the currency, whether using some wallet, e-wallet, or whether some using bank wallets or something. They call this inventory cost, which is cost of maintaining an inventory of a particular currency. So you already bought $1 million of $1 million, and you save it with the shelf or private vault or e-vault, so for which you have to pay some fees. We call this inventory cost. So remember, factors that affect that spread: number 1, order cost; number 2, inventory cost; Number three, competition. Remember that one. The more intense the competition, the smaller the spread, right? Of course, when are many agents or many middlemen, many banks, they are offering the same currency. Of course, there is a competition, so spread, which means there is a small difference between bid and ask. So bid ask spread going to be decreased when there are many people who are selling that currency or who are buying that currency, right? Number four, volume. Volume means how much trade is going on at the given time. How many transactions are taking place? It's not like that. For example, Mexican peso. So you purchase 1 billion of Mexican peso. That doesn't mean that the volume is high. No, volume means the number of buyers and number of sellers having transactions, right? So if the currency have larger trade volume, which means it is more liquid, which means it has more numerous buyers and numerous sellers. So what is liquidity? Ability to convert into cash. So what is liquidity? Sir, we are dealing in currency which is already cash. No. Ability to convert the currency into your home currency. If you are in US, then your liquidity must be in dollars. If you have peso, how much quickly peso can convert into dollar? And if you are in Australia and you are dealing with Mexican peso, so how much quickly the Mexican peso can convert into Australian dollar? So your point of reference is different, right? So liquidity means ability to convert into your home currency. And if you are in US, then home currency would be dollar. And if you are in Europe, United Europe something, so you call this euro. If you're in Spain, again euro. And if you are in Turkey, it is Turkish lira, right? If you are in Russia, then it is ruble. If you are in Korea, we call this Korean won, right? So if there are many buyers and many sellers, then it is easy to sell and buy. So high liquidity means smaller spread, right? For example, you can also take some your home examples or your home business example or nearby business example. So the thing that is readily available or more people frequently trade in, it has small profit margins, right? Similarly, why? Because many people want to sell it and many people want to buy it at the same time. So the profitability or the spread between those two currency decreases, hence it affects the bid-ask spread to decrease because volume is too high. And then currency risk. So remember, competition and volume has inverse relationship with the spread. Higher volume, smaller the higher volume, lesser spread. High competition, lesser spread. If high order cost, high spread. High inventory cost, high spread. High currency risk, high spread, which means if there is economic or political condition that causes the demand and supply for your currency to change abruptly. For example, in Venezuela, they have political turmoil, so their bid-ask spread has increased, right? Because if dealer buy that Venezuelan peso, what happened? maybe there is some economic political turmoil in the country, and the foreigners, they don't want to buy or they don't want to deal with the Venezuelan, currency. What happened? Your order costs start rising, your inventory costs start rising, there is less competition, volume going to be decreased, right? There are less number of people to buy that currency, so hence the spread increases. So only two, competition and and volume, trade volume between the currencies. If they increases, spread go down. Any question, Tiffany, Oliver?
Yeah, I have a question.
PTA, yes, Oliver.
So if there is a low volume, there's higher spread, or?
Yeah. If there's a low volume means it's not about low volume. Doesn't mean that there is a low, the order size is small, like $1,000 is going to be traded. No, volume means number of buyers and sellers are having transactions. Number of transactions, not the size of the transaction. Oliver.
Yes, understood.
Good. For example, if we are having, look at, if you just go through the internet, you will find out the most liquid currency is dollar. Why? Because look at the trade volume. How much is today, or in between an hour, between a minute, how many transactions are occurred, and how many dollars are bought and sold. You can just have a live, streaming from your forex exchange sites or something. They can be, easily updated. So you will see that there is consistent demand and supply of the dollar rate as compared to other currencies. So big five currencies are dollar, euro, yen, and pound. And now the world is accepting Chinese yuan as well, but still it's not the big under it's not the big five currencies. Still we have big four currencies, right? Why? Because the liquidity is so high. Liquidity means its volume of trade, their volume of trade is so high. And what happens when volume of trade is high? Their competition is high. When competition is high, its inventory cost is low. Why? Because you don't have to wait to store the dollars, yen and euro and pound, because it's already been sold and bought. So you don't have to pay too much inventory cost. Similarly, the order cost is reduced. Cost of processing the orders are also reduced, right? So now world is generally slowly accepting the fifth currency, which is yuan. Still, it's not under, some countries has accepted it, but not all the countries, right? Okay. Now let's talk about the interpreting foreign exchange quotations. So till now, what we have discussed, bid-ask rate. What is bid-ask rate? At what rate dealer or seller or agent want to buy from